potential unlock your weapon, to limit break your weapon, to get all of the augment slots that you needed. There was a currency you got while playing the game that you used that currency instead. Granted, yeah, you still have to spend money on your augments, sure. You still have to spend money on the weapon, absolutely. However, now upgrading the weapon, getting its power going, getting the slots to put the augments in, now you're not spending a set on it. Now you can spend this currency that's specifically put into place for this one thing alone, and you're incentivized to maybe get another weapon. They very obviously understand that this is a problem because of the whole LC augment situation, where LC augments started popping up to alleviate the process of players having to re-augment their gear, and those augments being super expensive and fluctuating in price so often. They're aware that's an issue. They're also aware that the Meseta is an issue because they consistently do events.
Okay, with that in mind, that if they are aware, why not improve the things what we already have and got? Why put more effort into other content moving forward? Why not just put it as is as of now, like seasonal events, and change a certain things little by little in the current game right now? And going for what he just said a moment ago,
Getting the slots to put the augments in, now you're not spending a set on it. Now you can spend this currency that's specifically put into place for this one thing alone, and you're incentivized to maybe get another weapon.
Incentivized to get another weapon. The thing about that is we don't have enough weapons and armor, or majority, we should say, equipment. We don't have enough equipment to do A, B, C, and D. We only have what has given us to go A, B, and C and urgent quest and limited time quest, and somewhat of, as the main story progresses, we have all the basic necessity needs. Like I mentioned, this is the basic weapon that you get for completing X, Y, and Z, the main mission, and leveling up to a certain point, that cap. And once you complete X, Y, and Z and the level cap, you get the armor. So this begs another question. They need more weapons. How can we get more weapons as generalizing past weapons? And how can we go from A, B, and C with the past weapons that we already have and the weapons that we have now, from 11 or to 10 stars? How can we manipulate or monopolize of what we have? How can they get better and improve the equipment themselves, as well as augments? Like I've stated before, the way to do that is by giving meaning augments. As of now, it doesn't really have a meaning. It has a one plain narrow-minded mindset of how you create how you equip yourself in gear. It's not how, if I want to have a role or role play, how can I be a better hunter? How can I be a better like in classes? How can I be a better hunter? Fighter, ranger, gunner, forcer, techer, braver, bouncer, waker, slayer. How can I be better in using whatever weapons in that class for I could achieve X, Y, and Z? But they're not giving us the opportunity. They're just giving us pretty much, like I said on my previous videos, they're half-assing. They're giving us half-ass things and unnecessary things, like transfer. Transfer is a necessity, don't get me wrong, but XE augments transfer is not a necessity. It's just adding it. They should take that away of that feature, put it in all augments transfer. It's the same shit, just that one is for XE, one is for everything else. Everything else should acquire XE. So this should be taking it off from the engine and the game IP itself, because there's a lot of unnecessary things, excuse me, like as this one now. Why has all this if this pretty much maybe can do the same job, or if it doesn't do the same job, make it that it does, and then take this and that off, so you have more features applied in the game and adding other things that's meaningful and improving the game. So pretty much we need an overhaul, like Cyberpunk did, and Anthem. Anthem is no more. It died because they weren't able to comply and be flexible into change. Sega needs to be flexible and into change their way of thought process. But if they have a narrow-minded process that they're not willing to change, they want to go A, B, C, D, and X, Y, and Z, and cutting corners, the game won't last long. It's like trading. They took that away from base PSO2 base game, and they didn't add it on NGS, but they have the qualifications in the player shop. You can trade in the player shop, but you have to bypass certain aspect of things. Pretty much you're cheating the system and overlooking into things that it doesn't look like you're trading, but you are trading in the game, but you're bypassing and you're cheating the system. So that begs to differ of the player shop needs an improvement. This is the key function, the main core of being a fruitful fruit of changing the game. But if they don't change the core, you're not gonna bear fruit. You're leaving the one that can change the game and aspect of things, but you're leaving it to rot the dust. You're adding layers on something that is not in a pure aspect of things of change and to bear fruit. So you're letting it wither and to die. That's why the game is dying, slowly but surely. And the more people use that type of system, you're creating more bugs and infestation of bugs, loopholes, bypassing, glitches that's gonna be unstable because it's creating new bugs. This is the one whole prospector of what needs to be necessary change. They could add all this shits and giggles, other shit that we don't need or we do need, but it's creating more bugs and more layers. Why they had to do that drastic change on maintenance. And also, if you looked at all that bug list, that's not scratching the surface. There is more, and more creating as we speak. Because it's like, if you're in PC, you should understand this. Once you're looking in sites, regardless what sites it is, you're going to get malware and viruses. How do you clean malware and viruses from a PC? You need something that's anti-malware and pretty much cleaning your PC, organizing your shit, and to clean it properly. So, and have a prompt that saying, hey, I'm warning you, there's something in your PC. You need to fix it, change it, delete it, do whatever before it corrupts. The same thing in NGS. There's a festation, there's a corruptness in the player shop that you're adding more to things on top of it, and it's going to be really hard if you don't change it ASAP. If you leave, and like in PC, if you leave malware and viruses that's attacking your PC, and you're playing around with it, and some pop-up comes out, and you just click, what happens? It hurts your PC, and it slows down, and then before you know it, someone trying to get into it, because it's easier for hackers, cheaters to get into a corrupted site. It's like a parasite. Once a parasite gets into your body, or a virus, if you're getting a flu or COVID or something, how do you get rid of that? Vaccination, or there's other a little bit more natural methods. But to get rid of something that is attacking your body hard and is about to kill you, you need something to get rid of it as fast as you can before it gives you an error and the PC just kaput. So this is one key factor. There is other key factors, like how they put in a lot of tickets. Why there is a drawback and a gatekeeping type of system. Yes, Sega NGS needs money, but there is a proper way, even though it's free. I've explained it so many times, and maybe Chrono and anybody else, but we're going a little bit more out of topic.
They very obviously understand this is a problem because of the whole LC augment situation, where LC augments started popping up to alleviate the process of players having to re-augment their gear, and those augments being super expensive and fluctuating in price so often. They're aware that's an issue. They're also aware that
fluctuation price is not as much of an issue because it's healthy for the game itself. For it's like the economy video that I made. It explains everything well and perfectly, and maybe more about the economy, how the fluctuation of prices. It's fine. It's healthy. A lot of people, gamers, take it for granted, and also how people manipulate the market system. It's non-healthy. There's a manipulation to a certain draw line, that gray area, that it is okay. But there is, when you pass that gray area, it's not okay. That's why you have scammers and scalpers and cheaters. That's the same issue in the real life. So
that is an issue because they consistently do events where instead of costs are slashed, where gear comes pre-upgraded, it comes pre-augmented, right? So this is obvious part of the problem. This solution would be widespread, and it would be, in my opinion, a much better overall system for us to interact with. At the end of the day, would it fix all problems? No, it would not. There's very few one solutions that'll fix all of your problems when it comes to gaming in general.
I agree.
Be a bit of a shift, but I think it'll be a shift in a good way that wouldn't affect players from a market perspective.
Yes, if it won't affect players if that shift change into an account. Not actual account, but you get what I mean. It will shift perfectly into we're all accountable of how we do things, like scammers and cheaters and scalpers. They should add, well, that's gonna be more like, in my opinion, not what the community or the players want. But in this case, what we need as how we could make the materials relevant, how augments needs to be relevant and improve. And like the berries, the fruits, the seafood, the meat, etc., they have to be relevant as well, because right now they're just sitting there collecting dust and it's non-buyable or sellable or tradable. I've said this before by talking about the market and the market system. Everything needs to be sellable, buyable, and tradable. And adding trading back in the system, it would be a drawback, but also, will it fix anything? Will it change anything? Yes and no. But is it going to be healthy for the economy and for the players? Yes. Because, like I explained in the economy video, you need the farmer, the seller, the buyer, the trader. So you need those 4 ingredients to make the economy work. So yeah, if they improve that and also add equipment that has status and ability, that would be a game changer. That outfits that has status and ability, that would be a chef's kiss and a great shift to make all these things that is negative to a positive effect. Of course, there's a drawback. If you have too many positives, what happens? A positive and a positive turns into a negative. This is mathematic. And you could look at your math books or look it up yourselves. A negative and a negative makes a negative or a positive, depending. Negative and a positive can be resulted how you use it and how you rephrase it, a negative or a positive. So it's kind of like the code 01010001. You cannot have 0000000010000000100. That you can have that, but if it's all just 1111111111111 or just zeros, you're just gonna get another zero. You're not gonna change the mathematical equation. If you have 0101011001 and things like that, you're switching up the pattern, but you're still gonna have that pattern, that 0101 or 110, anything like that. If you understand it from this point till you have something that is positive, you're making a positive effect. But all the negatives, you're gonna keep on going having a negative effect, regardless how much there's positives and negatives and positive negatives. It's the same idea that Sega trying to make, but it's not doing anything right. Everything comes down to, in the end game, outfits. They need to fix everything else before coming to or towards that. You could kill two birds with one stone, but how are you going to be able to kill it? Two birds in one stone if it keeps moving around? Or do you have that perfect aim, that perfect shot, and take both of them down at the same time? Or you have to use more stones to try to take those two birds down.
There are some players that they do interact with the market for this process. Now, granted, there would be some people that would be affected that sell fodders for upgrading, right? Like maybe those people would specifically be affected. But at the end of the day, it's something I feel like would be a fantastic positive change for PSO2.
I agree.
Drop the Meseta cost and give us a different currency. On top of that, you could even
yes, give us a different currency. I agree to that. But also, keep in mind, it would be better if the materials itself is a new type of currency for upgrading. It's like I explained before. Think of webtoons, manhwa, etc., anime, like Sword Art Online or Login Horizon. Yeah, gold is the number one to move things around moving forward. But also, you need the materials to be a number one priority to improve your equipment. It's like any other. If I want to improve my sword, how can I boost up the quality or improve that is gonna still cut in one go? You need do some maintenance on your weapon, adding things to it, because you're adding things to it. You're not going to the blacksmith yet. The blacksmith is pretty much your enhancement, lab enhancement items. There is your blacksmith. Once you need to limit break or improve its potential, then I'd say yeah, you need a blacksmith for that, which is that person putting two and two together of one weapon and another one to be more, improve or better. Maybe you found something, or you just want to put two things together of that then and there when you're in your journey and you're battling monsters. I'm just saying.
Argue that it would incentivize players to do other pieces of content more regularly. Imagine if we...
Yes. Making...
Come again.
Going... This is pretty much your bulletin board in anime style, but in game. So it's telling you your quest menu, and all the NPC is your side quest and what you need to do or whatnot. But these are your main quest. But your main quest should be also the main story mission that you have to get back into the chapters. And what if there's a certain gear, certain armor, certain augment, or certain loot that you need, or to progress further to the game, you need to go back to one of these and find out information. Because kind of like in Destiny, what they did well is that you could go back to old content. Borderlands as well. The old content, the story mission, it's relevant. So to get a weapon or armor, or trying to find that key thing that you missed, and it's pretty much taking you to an Easter egg hunt, trying to find that certain clue or certain puzzle that you need to re-achieve. Some things like that can improve the game better. And as well as like dungeons and raids, what people are saying that the base game PSO2 did some kind of well in that aspect. Once you finish the prologues and it has that dungeon feeling. But here, the dungeon kind of feeling is the story mission, but you have to do it solo. Why not co-op? Story mission needs co-op for you could enjoy the game as well as you need to get certain clues in order to open something, and maybe it has a new ending or a different ending that you haven't seen. Things like that, it gives it a new perspective, new way of thinking of how they do things. Or you could revisit where's that chapter? Was it here? Where you found Ilma in that lost sector. Maybe you had to find a certain clue or open a new area of Lost Sector, and you had to find something, and then it will be a new puzzle to like and open a new door. Things like that. Or when you do that, you're able to get a new weapon or a new set of armor, you know. And going to, what is it? Is it here, Lucille? No, this, yeah, this, I believe, is Lucille. No, it's gonna be probably chapter 5, Lucille. Yeah. Right here. Lucille. So, and then Geppetto. What if you could find another type of story or something that is hidden there? That maybe you could talk to Project 9 or 999, whatever, our character. Get more information. See if we could speak to our character that is in that pod. You know, things like that. Maybe before Geppetto or whatever his name is dies, we could get more insight how he's able to do that type of power, or how before he gets corrupted, or how we're gonna find out he got corrupted, or things, can we reverse it, or thing, you know, I'm just giving ideas.
We had like a daily reward for queuing into a specific piece of content, and that reward would give us a currency that we could use for upgrading our weapons and stuff like that. That way you would stack that currency up and use that for other things as well.
I agree.
This is something that players have actually talked about wanting for, I mean, people talk about the whole Zig weapon situation. For those who don't know, there was an NPC back in base PSO2 where you took him a currency. Because currency, of course, would change, but you took him a currency for the current tier weapon that would come from the current piece of content to make that weapon, right? Like, this was a very...
From that note, I don't think Zig is a good idea. Because it just going back how it was in PSO2. So pretty much, why do we need PSO2 base game if NGS gonna pretty much going the same storytelling and the same reusing what PSO2 base game already have? Why not showcase something different that PSO2 don't have? Why follow what PSO2 have base game? Everything that PSO2 has, why follow all that? Why can't we just be NGS? New Genesis. Why can't we be New Genesis? Why can't we become our own IP? Because pretty much I'm playing what's it called? Not part 2 of a game, but the sequel. This is the sequel of base PSO2. If we keep repeating and reusing the same thing, and just that this one NGS has more graphic looking, and you're just lowering the quality to get everything else in PSO2, and you're just transforming here to get everything what that PSO2 has. Doesn't make sense. If in the end of the day, if we're being like base game PSO2, why not just delete or split the game from PSO2 and NGS and just put everything in PSO2 here. Like, just make it, polish it, make it neat, and call it base game PSO2 NGS here. And just delete the old one. Because we're pretty much having everything else what base game has. We're not being NGS, new NGS. We're not being new Phantom Star Online, whatever it's called. We're not being the new or Part.2. We're being the sequel. Because the sequel, what it is like Borderlands. You have Borderlands 1, you have Borderlands 2, and you have Borderlands the sequel. The same shit. You're just getting a little bit add-on of different storytelling here and there. But the sequel is pretty much extra of base game. And the part 2 of Borderlands. Is it worth the money? No. But people say, I even said, Borderlands, the sequel is better than Borderlands 2. And this is how it's starting to look. Like, why compare apples and oranges if the orange and the pear wants to be like an orange? It doesn't make sense. Because, yeah, it's going to be in the same fruit groups, but if it tastes the same, looks the same, acts the same, why have another one if you just have, you should have that one? It should be apples and oranges, or apples and pears, oranges and pears, whatever. It should be different, not the same shit. That's why it's going down.
Popular thing that people liked a lot when it first came around, because it decoupled the Meseta portion. You didn't have to worry about buying your weapon off of the market. Granted, back in base PSO2, you didn't anyway, because a lot of weapons just weren't sellable. But players could then go in and take that currency and get their weapon and build their weapon up.
Yeah, that's the only bad. Well, that's the bad part. Having a different currency for those weapons that's not sellable, and you can't increase it and improve it. You're going back to square one. It's not fixing anything or fixing the problem or fixing the solution. You're just making more of a bigger problem. It's either one or the other. Why not improve what we already have? Like I've said, you need everything that is sellable. You need everything that can sell. You need, who cares about AC and SG? That SG is sellable. Who cares and who gives a damn about that? What we should be caring is how to improve this to make it better, for it could be sellable and people can buy if you don't want to grind and farm for. Because there are those individuals that don't want to do that. They want to do min-maxing, don't want to put anything in words here. But
welcome.
Improve augments, improve materials, have it to refine and upgrade. That helps the economy, make it sellable, make it buyable, make it tradable. That's what we're missing, and a lot of players don't understand that. because that's what I've seen in general. This is not just my opinion. This is what I see. This is factual, and this is truth. Why keep repeating the same history? Why not move on and learn from the past? Past is PSO2 and other NGS games. Why not learn from it and use what you've learned to improve? Because all that people are saying, base game is better, blah blah blah. But how are you going to move on from that scenario? Because there is pros and cons on that game. Here as well, more cons than pros. But that begs the question, like he said previous, of this, how to improve or make the better game if we don't generalize or move. How do we move on? Because it's like Sega, no, it's like PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, and Steam, and Epic Games, and whatever, and mobile. How can you move on from the here and now? How can you make the equality in the game better? How can you make the entertainment better? You're just upgrading like phones. Phones is the same shit from back when phones are developing and it's new. That was a huge upgrading step from technology, from phones, from wired and then talking to people, and then finally cell phones, and now everything is all camera based, digital things. You're not improving your lifestyle or the game itself. You're not moving past that or being more creative and bring in something else in the table. You're just bringing up, here's a little upgrade, a little something. But it's pretty much the same thing as the previous model. Why upgrade to the previous, to the newer model if the previous model does the same thing? It's like PlayStation 4 and 5. Why move to the PlayStation 5 if the PlayStation 4 does exactly the same shit? Oh, because of the specs and the graphics, and graphics here and there. If that's the only two features that you're looking forward to, and other little gimmicky features that PlayStation has, or the Xbox to Xbox Series S or X, whatever, and to that refrigerator thing looking, then to that slender one, looks like a DVD player or a DirecTV thing. Why do you need to go from A to A minus or A plus if it's the same thing? You're not getting a different quality. You're getting different quality, but you're not getting the quantity of improvement. Where's the jump? Because PlayStation 3 to 4 was a big leap step up. Or they could have waited and improved certain things and features on the PlayStation 3, because PlayStation 3 lasted for a very long time. longer than 4. And now 5, they're going to introduce PlayStation 6 very sooner than later. And what about once PlayStation 6 gets in? What, PlayStation 7? What other new shit they're gonna shove into the game? It's pretty much what Sega's doing, that with the gears. You're doing a little upgrade here, but it's not even an improvement. It's not even an upgrade. It's just a different version. That's why it's a series. So it's like I said, a phone. How iPod or iPhones are. iPhones are, you're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they made complete jumps here and there where Steve Jobs was still alive. And when he passed on, it's pretty much, it's just, you just need to upgrade for better camera, different features here and there. But it's pretty much exactly same the older phones. Just that now the older phones cannot get the other iOS. Maybe here and there, but you won't be able to receive the other iOS system because it's older generation. You need the new generation in order to keep using the iOS system.
This is an emergency transmission.
Same shit here.
Our data points to the imminent appearance of dark falls
Just by
in the central
utilizing
area.
that currency, like playing the current tier of content, you're giving the currency, and that currency was only used for that one thing.
Currently in the planning stages.
By making currencies specific to that one thing, you then give value to that currency, you give value to that piece of content.
Not
Your
really.
overall goal is to get that item. Players.
The real value, like I've said before, and he said it earlier on, that he pretty much kind of hinted we need outfits that has
An interception operation involving the central cannon is currently in the
status
planning stages.
and ability.
Please prepare to deploy.
I agree with that. We do need that. But he didn't really say, he just said what Final Fantasy 14 has of the outfits. But I'm retelling it that we need that in order for the bar system can go up higher and improve, that it'd be better than how Sega's saying of not introducing EX augments to armor yet, because that would tear up the game. It would be bad, because people are not gonna be used to that system as of now. I digress. I think it would be a benefit and we'll be better off if they did introduce EX augments. If we think about all this time right now, as he explained it, or is explaining how to improve, I think EX armor or augments in armor would be beneficial to the game. And that would force Sega's hand and NGS developer team to improve the quality of the game and the gear itself, improving it. Not like how nerfing and fixing an improvement of armors or equipment themselves or Mars. It's because everything is unbalanced in this game. Why balance something or why fix something that doesn't need to be fixed. It's like people are complaining about where is it? People are complaining about Hydra. It's a full load of baloney. All the weapons has a factor how you play the game. Because if you're just using the Hog and Hydra, or the Hog and the Scythe, the ship thing, you're not using the game, the weapon's potential as it is right now. Or some people are using the sword, but as it is right now, Mars system don't mean shit in this game because it doesn't make a difference whether you use Hydra or any other type of Mars or weapons. Doesn't matter if you use any of these, regardless what you're using. Doesn't mean shit because all Mars is a boost. Depending on your armor or your gear battle power, I should say battle power, depending on your battle power, that's how much it's gonna pretty much kick ass. It's a boost. It's not a game changer because it acts and feels the same way as you're using weapons. The game changer that will be if they put EX augments to the armor. Why a lot of players and content creators are iffy, having a pet peeve about EX augments into the armor right now. It would put a shift and a drop back that people will dislike or hate, or their way of thinking. Because, like I said, people are narrow-minded. They're thinking how and reflecting what base PSO2. They're comparing PSO2 like oranges and oranges because it's not oranges and apples. They're comparing of the same fruit. The same fruit doesn't mean nothing. Only if that fruit is a different species. Then you could probably compare of that fruit and that same orange. But if it's not the same species of that orange, and it's the same orange that you get from the store, why compare it? You're just comparing the size and the flavor. That's about it. You're not comparing everything else because it doesn't make sense. If you're comparing apples and oranges, then yeah, which is better? What gives you a better taste? You know, how many recipes can you make with an apple or an orange? Think about that.
I'm very obviously like this. Like, this is a thing that a lot of people talk about all the time, and I mean like consistently, not just like, oh, it comes up every once in a while. People talk about wanting to build up weapons, or weapons that you don't have to spend money on, or weapons that you can essentially get by just playing the game in general, and get most of their power just by enjoying the game. So it's something that I feel like is going to be an overall positive change, something that could be a very huge benefit to the game if we went in that direction. And again, it's not perfect. PSO2 has its struggles. Even 14 has its struggles in the gearing system, where their horizontal gearing progression is kind of shit. Like, they don't have a lot of good horizontal choices. There's only like one path into everything, and for a lot of players that's super boring. You could also be coming from a perspective where you feel like players should have to work super hard for all of their gear. One thing to mention is PSO2 is a very casual game. I think you should have to work hard for the very top echelon of your gear. I think that
again, a lot of people compare MMOs just with the other MMOs. That goes to the same argument that I said. They're comparing oranges with oranges. What's a different species of orange? Will you compare the same species? That's on you. And depending, if the species of orange has it's half an apple or a fusion, a hybrid. It's like Asian pear. Asian pear, it's pretty much a pear hybrid apple. Tastes like an apple, tastes like a pear. But also it's a different type of species of a fruit. It's its own fruit. It's not a fusion that you're putting two different type of DNA.
From a casual perspective for a casual game, the midpoint should be pretty easy to hit. Like, it should be fairly straightforward. It should be something that as you just play the game, you just sort of get. So if you believe personally that it should be the other way around, it should be more difficult for every single upgrade should be fought for tooth and nail. I don't think PSO2 is the game for you.
Yeah.
There are games like that exist, but I think it's very unhealthy to look at things from a perspective.
I think that it's unhealthy right now because how people implement min-maxing as a new type of playing style. But I'm not going to get into that topic I'll just leave it as is.
Where you feel like a game should be a specific way that it very obviously just is not pushing in that direction. This is me looking at it from the perspective of kind of working with the casual player base while also not punishing the hardcore player base. I think that the top end should require quite a bit of work, but the mid end to low end should not be that difficult to hit.
That's a different aspect of things, but
at the moment, while it's not difficult, it is cumbersome, it is time consuming, and it is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. That's all I've got for you guys today.
So yeah. So, in the end of the day, this game needs an overhaul. So, peace out.